Good morning. My name is Chituga Chinda and I'm here. And today we shall be discussing the narrative. In what particular sense exactly? The narrative of our political culture. You must have heard, because it is becoming popular in the political space, you must have heard it said that nobody can defeat the incumbent president in the oncoming 2027 general elections. I say to that, dust. That is a classic example of a narrative. The narrative is effective. The effect is to demoralize the minds of those opposition figures or young persons like yourself who are itching for a difference, who understand that, oh, in this current system, I am not properly accommodated. Not only am I not properly accommodated, I am not heard. My voice is not heard. My opinions do not count. So what am I to do about this situation? Am I to submit to despondency? Am I to sulk? Am I to lick my wound and sit at the corner and wait a turn that may never come? Or am I to seize whatever opportunity is at my disposal? Well, let me tell you something. Here is an alternative narrative. The people feel stifled. This is particular to Rivers State. It is a state where the governor, as elected by the Constitution, is no longer administering the affairs of the state, nor do we have a House of Assembly. Rather, there is an administrator, a sole administrator. He was meant to administer the state pending the suspension of the governor. But guess what he has done? He has overstretched his bounds. He is employing civil servants. He is dissolving boards of parastatals and reconstituting them. In fact, he has appointed administrators for local government. It is fair to say that Rivers State does not operate under the 1999 Constitution. You would recall the events that transpired in the state in the 2023 general election, particularly the presidential election. The excitement, how on the streets, at the polling units, votes were given to the Labour Party in numbers, and the results reflected a different outcome. I think that whatever we are experiencing is flowing from the excesses of that process. Able-bodied Nigerians who understand what actually happened in Rivers State. I can't speak for all of Nigeria, but I can speak for Rivers State because we know that the All Progressives Congress, my party, did not win the election, the presidential election in this state. But now the narrative is that the president is not capable of losing an election. I wish for you to alter that narrative. That narrative sells fear. That narrative puts you in a position where you are forced to limit your choice or you practically have no option. That system is effective because it targets your mind. The moment you concede to that line of thought that the incumbent who has taken economic decisions that have hurt the income and purchasing power of a majority of the citizens and has greatly altered their lives, especially financially, and has put in motion unconstitutional governance model for Rivers State, the administrator taking sides with one of the parties. There are plenty of reasons to believe that this administration can in fact lose an election. But if you take it from the perspective of this administration can lose an election, the message might not be as effective. If you take it from the perspective of we, the citizens, you, I, me, can take Mr. President's advice and appreciate the fact that power is not served a la carte, that you must grab it, snatch it, and run away with it. That is the belief, the narrative that must inform your thoughts for us to be a success as per elections. The idea is that I can win these elections, not that I may win the president, not that the president will lose, but I can win this election. Now, I means you are taking ownership of the process, whether or not you are the candidate. Another good way of strengthening the narrative is for you to involve yourself in politics. It is looking like the All Progressives Congress and the People's Democratic Party, which are the viable options in Nigeria, you may add Labour Party, which are the viable options in Nigeria, are being closed out. It has become a cartel. Even within the party, only a few speak, contrary to the principles of our democratic governance. The narrative is not to be anxious. That makes you sick. It's not to be angry. That puts you in a bad position mentally. The narrative is not about fear. That confuses you entirely. The narrative is about what you pretend as an individual. The narrative is the fact that you can run for public office, that our legislature is important in checking the excesses of the governor, in checking the excesses of the president, and as much of us that have the capacity not just in terms of ability to sponsor an election, but understands the needs of our people. What we need jobs. We need good paying jobs. We need crafts. Since you can't find us enough jobs, we need craftsmen. We aren't making anything. There's fraud everywhere. But there's no point in complaining. Why? Because it is a reality. A reality that you acknowledge this is the situation. What you do not acknowledge or what you do not accept is the narrative that because this is the situation, this is how it should be. You will continue to collect rice for the next 2 years, and when the time comes, the APC will be Nike. All good. It's your choice. No matter what any pundit says, he's not with you in your house. He will not vote with you at the polls. He cannot decide for you. So take hold of the narrative. Champion the narrative that you are that shining light. In spite of your imperfection, you are the difference. You are the game changer. You are everything that is required to turn this nation around. Thank you for listening. Have a wonderful weekend. Take care of yourself.